Right, this is chapter 4, lesson 1, estimating products of fractions from California Math, your Common Core edition, course 1. So in this lesson, they are going to be leading you into just thinking about multiplying, say, a fraction times a whole number. In example 2, we'll think about multiplying a fraction times a fraction. And in lessons 2 and 3, they'll show you how to get that exact answer. How do you exactly multiply a fraction times a whole number, or how do you multiply two fractions? But to warm you up to that idea, they're going to have you do some estimates. Just kind of making educated guesses at what a possible value of a product would be. And sometimes just doing the estimates can be a little bit trickier because you're a little bit unsure, like you kind of question yourself, are you doing the right thing? But the main point is just you're having some kind of educated guess at what the answer should be. And later, as I said in lessons 2 and 3, we'll give you an exact method for how to compute these products. So with this first example, I want to estimate 1/2 of 31, and then we'll do a second one, estimate 3/4 of 13, and finally 3/4 of 11. So let's start with this one. So I want to take 1/2 of 31, and the idea is if I look at this number here, 31 doesn't divide evenly by 2, right? 31 doesn't divide into half. But if I take 31 and say replace it with 30, which is kind of close, so if I say 31 is roughly 30, I could take half of 30 much easier, right? Half of 30 is just 15. So one possible answer for the estimate here is half of 31. Well, if I think of 31 as being about 30, then half of 30 is exactly 15. So half of 31 is about 15. Now, one could also say, well, why did you pick 30? I could have picked 32, because 32 is a number that divides nicely into a half. 32 divided by 2 is 16. So I think that's an equally valid answer, is to instead of using, replacing 31 with 30, replacing, say, 31 with 32, and then taking half of that, that would be fine also. Half of 32 is 16, so an equally valid answer is for someone to say, half of 31 is about 16. So I feel like both those answers are reasonable things. All right, so let's move on to letter B. We want to know 3/4 of 13. What roughly is that equal to? Again, in lesson 2, they'll show you how to compute this product exactly. But here we're just going for a rough estimate. And on this first one, I was really thinking about taking my number here and halving it. Now what I'm thinking about doing is trying to take my number here and divide it into parts of size 4. So putting into 4 equal groups. Well, 13 isn't easily divisible by 4, right? 4 doesn't go into 13 a whole number of times. So if I think of 13 as being close to 12, which is divisible by 4, then I can compute what this, or estimate what this product would be. So 3/4 of 13 is roughly 3/4 of 12. Okay, so again, why am I picking 12 and say not 14 and not 15, which are numbers that are also close to 13? I'm picking 12 because 12 is a number that's close to 13 that's also divisible by 4. All right, so now I'm thinking of 3/4 of 12. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 3 times 3 is 9. So 3/4 of 12 is roughly, or 3/4 of 12 is exactly, is 9. So perhaps a picture might help explain things here a little bit. So if I think of a number line, and I have a 12 at the end, and then maybe 6 right here, and then 3, and then 9. What I'm saying is that 12 is divisible by 4, and when I take 3/4, or 3/4 of 12, I'm ending up with the number 9. So that's how I'm getting this estimate of 9. So to conclude, 3/4 of 13 is roughly about 9. let's try and do the same thing with C. You may want to try and pause the video and come up with your estimate for C. Here I'm doing something similar. I'm taking 3/4 of 11. I first look at this number here and ask, is it divisible by 4? And the answer is no. So I want to replace 11 with a number that's close to 11 that's also divisible by 4. A number that's close to 11 that's divisible by 4 is 12 again. So here, 3/4 of 11 is roughly 3/4 of 12. And we already computed 3/4 of 12 in part B. So I wanted to do an example, B and C, where while these numbers here might differ, because they're both close to 12, which is divisible by 4, our estimates end up looking the same. Now, of course, the exact answers differ. If I were to compute exactly 3/4 of 11, that's not going to be the same as exactly 3/4 of 13. Nevertheless, when we do our estimates, the idea is I'm trying to pick numbers that are easy to work with, and the trade-off is I lose a little bit of preciseness in my answer. So for C, 3/4 of 11 is roughly the same as 3/4 of 12, and we computed 3/4 of 12 to be 9, which is 9. Okay, so that's the first group of examples. This first example where you're just estimating a product of a fraction and a whole number. The key idea is that when you look at that whole number, you try and pick a whole number that's divisible by the denominator in your fraction. All right, so next group of examples deals with estimating the product of two fractions. And now this is certainly, it could be more complicated depending on what kind of estimating procedure we want to use. The method that the book chooses to use is actually quite simple, in the sense that we're only going to estimate our fractions to 0, 1/2, or 1. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean by that. So example 2, and I'll build this into the directions. Estimate by rounding to 0, 1/2, or 1. So numbers that we should think of as being very easy to work with. It's not too hard to take half of a number. It's not too hard to multiply a number times 1. It's not too hard to multiply a number times 0. So we're going to round our fractions to just one of these three specific fractions here. Of course, we lose a little bit of accuracy, so we're not going, again, for an exact answer. We're just trying to get a rough idea of what the answer might be. So we're going to estimate by rounding to 0, 1/2, or 1. And our estimate that we're going to do is 2/3 of 11/10. So if I look at these fractions, I could think of them on a number line. 2/3, what's that look like? So here's from 0 to 1. 2/3, I've divided this number line evenly into thirds, so this would be 1/3, and this would be 2/3. And then I just have to think, out of these three specific fractions, which one is 2/3 closest to? Well, 0 is way over here, 1's way over here, and 1/2 is right in the middle. So there's 1/2. So from that picture, I could see visually that 2/3 is, among these three specific fractions, 2/3 is closest to 1/2. So we're going to replace this 2/3 with 1/2. I could do the same thing for 11/10. So I go 0 to 1. I'm dividing the number line into 10 equal pieces, this number line from 0 to 1. So there's 1/2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. So each one of these is representing an increment of 1/10. And you may already see what you should round this to, but one of the points of this is to really reinforce what these fractions, what does a fraction look like on a number line? So I'm not trying to get you to the answer as fast as possible. I'm trying to also tie in some concepts, just what does a fraction represent on the number line? So here, 11 over 10 would be sitting right here. Right, this one would be 9 over 10, 8 over 10. So among the fractions 0, 1/2, and 1, what number is 11 over 10 closest to? And it's definitely closest to 1. So right here. So we'll estimate 2/3 with a half. We'll estimate with 11 over 10, say that's roughly 1. Therefore, what is 1/2 of 1 is just 1/2. If you take half of 1, you have a half. So our estimate of 2/3, 11 over 10, is approximately 1/2. Now this estimate is very rough. This estimate is just a very rough guess. It's probably not incredibly close to the exact answer. And the reason for that is because we're rounding to three very specific fractions, 0, 1/2, and 1. And so if your given fraction is kind of somewhere in between, you're really moving it quite a bit away from where it was when you replace it with 1/2, say in this case. This one's not too bad. 11 over 10 actually is pretty close to 1. But the idea is that we're just replacing a harder problem with an easier one, and we may lose some degree of accuracy in our final answer. All right, so the last example that I want to give is a geometric problem, where we're going to estimate the area of a rectangle. So estimate the area of the given rectangle. Right, so the area of a rectangle is the base length of the rectangle times its height. And so let me draw the rectangle that we're going to estimate the area of. It looks like this. So here's our rectangle. This length, it's not drawn perfectly to scale, but this length will be 4 7/8 feet, and this length will be 2 1/5 feet. So we just want to know what the area of this rectangle is. And again, area is base times height. And so we'll take these mixed numbers, and for convenience, we'll round them to whole numbers that are nearby. So I see 4 7/8 feet. 7 over 8 is going to be pretty close to 1. If you want to draw it on the number line, you can. But this 7 over 8 will be really close to 1. So I'm going to estimate 4 7/8 by 5. 2 1/5, on the other hand, 1/5 is actually pretty close to 0. It's fairly close there. So I'll estimate 2 1/5 as being roughly 2. Perhaps I'll draw this one. So what does 1/5 look like on the number line? So 0 to 1. And then divide it up into 5 equal pieces. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of these little tap marks represents a fraction. This would be 5 over 5, which is the same as 1. And so from this number line picture, we see that 1/5 actually is pretty close to 0. So it's not a very big number. So I've just completely ignored it. And if I were to draw a similar picture for 7 over 8, you'd have the same 0 to 1, but with 8 tap marks, and the 7 over 8 living somewhere over here. So with that, with these two estimates, I'm getting that the area of this rectangle is roughly 10. So from the 5 times the 2. So our estimate is roughly 10 feet squared. All right, good.